press centres on Essendon forward, dead shot Coleman. Can he kick his 100th goal for the season, his first in big football? Coleman gets it, and there's the 100. It's Essendon by 73 points.
Purity as a sportsman, as the champion player, his meaning to Essendon as a dual premiership coach, and the fact that he was just the epitome of what you would say is the James Hird of today. He was of that era and so admired by so many. And those of us who were around with him, by and large, just think the sun, moon, stars and everything else shone from him.
I was 9 years old, barracking for Essendon, lived in Essendon, and Coleman, 5 goals in his first quarter of VFL football. Amazing. And then he went on to kick 12 that day and became a superstar overnight. It was a wonderful start to a great career.
When you look at his first season, it was just a great record, and I don't know whether anyone today can hold that record, because he kicked 12 goals in his first game. He won the club's best and fairest. He won the leading goal kicker in the VFL and played in the premiership.
Here's Coleman at his brilliant best. Yes, he takes a fine mark there with some clever juggling.
He was an explosive player. He had incredible acceleration, and the leap is still something that's a memorable part of his play, how he could virtually go straight upwards. Yes, he took a lot of marks riding on someone's back, but he also took so many really screaming high marks just by the sheer athleticism of his leap, and that was one of the keystones of his play.
He had a beautiful pair of hands. Once the ball touched his hands, very much like Matty Lloyd.
Yeah, I remember when I started kicking a few goals, I would have a lot of the older generation come up to me and sort of not liken me to John Coleman, but say it's great to have another traditional full forward. And they used to tell me about the days at Windy Hill or other grounds, just switching ends just to follow John Coleman around. That's how exciting it was, whether it's his leap or his, the way he read the footy. And it often just had me imagining, I wish I saw John Coleman play. That's how highly everyone spoke of him.
I can remember the hushed silence in the crowd as he lay on the ground. I can clearly remember he seemed to be separate from, not being smothered by other players. It was just one of those freak things that he landed badly and twisted his knee.
It was an absolute tragedy that he'd started the season in 1954 so well and was marking these spectacular marks regularly, and then all of a sudden he's gone up for the ball and then crumpled on the ground as he's fallen, and he didn't really ever recover from that.
I think it was a dislocation, but whatever it was, I'm sure today's medicos could fix it.
To sort of fight through adversity after doing a knee and coming back, but obviously in those times they couldn't fix him up, so which retired him, probably prematurely. And then, as we all know, he went on to coach and was quite successful in that field.
As a coach, I thought he was just an unbelievable person. He had the ability to have fun with the blokes, and yet when he cracked the whip, he was the absolute ringmaster. He was the man in charge. He was a strict disciplinarian. He was a man who like his playing career, he was charismatic.
He sort of came and changed the whole concept, the ideas. He brought his ideas in on training and playing days. He used to work out a lot of the opponent's weaknesses. He felt that was one way of winning games.
John welded us together as a young team with these team meetings, which we held every Friday night before a match at his West Brunswick hotel. So that welded us together. We had some interesting tactical talks.
I always felt, and I always said to a lot of people, that that John Coleman was way before his time, and if he was coaching today, he'd be brilliant.
Dick Reynolds and John Coleman and Bill Hutchison, they're legendary and they'll never be forgotten, and they were 3 champions. They only come around once a decade, but we were lucky to have 3 in the one decade.
Just the impact he had, whether it was the 12 goals in his first game or 100 in his first year. I often look at the Essendon goal-kicking list, and there's myself, Simon Madden, and then Coleman in third, and he played for 4 or 5 years. So, yeah, probably the greatest football forward that this club's ever seen, and probably the game's ever seen.
Okay, so we are all aware of the grave situation here. Collingwood have 13,421 more Facebook friends than we do. And as Essendon's rookies, it's our duty, nay, our mission, to change this, okay? All right? So don't worry, everything's going to be fine, because I've got a plan. Behold. Come on, everyone, to the phones. We've got to make Essendon the most liked club in the game. We've got to.
First taste of a live game of rugby union. Yeah, it's good to be out here. Always watched it on TV, but never actually come to the game, and yeah, it's a great atmosphere.
This has been a Fox Footy production.